Hello there YouTube, it's your boy B3 back with another kicking action figure review. Today we have the Marvel Legends series Ironheart figure from Black Panther Wakanda Forever and Hasbro Toys. Yes, now, this is a pretty cool figure. I am a fan of Ironheart in the comics, especially when she works with the champions and stuff. I like Ironheart. I think she's cool. She's a post-Civil War II kind of character. And I really like a lot of Marvel's next-gen stuff, like Vision and Sam Alexander Nova, Miles Morales Spider-Man, etc., etc. Really like a lot of the next-gen characters. So, the this Ironheart figure I think is really cool. It's kind of more of the deluxe size figure from Hasbro's Marvel Legend line. This is when they were trying that plastic-free packaging, which I liked. A lot of people didn't like it because they were like, I can't see the figure before I buy it. But most people buy their figures online anyway, so I'm not entirely sure what the deal with that was. I got this at a brick and mortar store at a comic shop having its 10th anniversary. $5 with 10% off on top of that, and I got rewards points. Yeah. That's awesome. I should have got more. There were a bunch of Marvel Legends on the $5 table, but I just grabbed her because I wanted her when she came out, and I was like, I can't justify getting this until after I see the movie. And I never saw the movie. I haven't seen most post-in-game stuff. Sue me. How many things have I seen post-in-game? 3.5. WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Captain America Brave New World, and half of Moon Knight. Oh, no, I watched Werewolf by Night, which I actually really enjoyed. But yeah, I haven't watched much past Endgame. I should see this, though. I hear it's a good film. Quite a good film. But yeah, Ironheart. I really liked this look, actually. I like that they actually have, like, a heart on her. So there's, like, a visual representation of the kind of heart. That's really cool. And she has some really cool-looking accessories. So yeah, let's bust her out of package. And here she is out of package, the Marvel Legends MCU Ironheart from Hasbro. I think she's really cool, actually. You see the big heart on her back are actually these huge jet engines, which I actually think are a really cool design. Like, from the back, it's obvious, like, what they are, and that they look like they're for flight and stuff, but then you turn her around, and it is a big heart. I actually think that's quite a good design. I really like her look quite a lot. And you also have kind of a visual heart shape here on the chest as well. She's really cool. I like this armor. Actually quite like this armor. Yeah, I can't wait to put her with my champions, who are admittedly in my mother's attic, because when I moved, I didn't bring many figures with me because I moved in kind of a hurry. Not because of any, like, emergency or something, but because I was really, really busy and then really, really sick right before I moved. So I didn't pack in time because I was, like, violently ill for 2 weeks. I moved with the flu, carrying boxes. It was terrible. So I didn't bring a lot of non-essentials, like figures. But I do have some Marvel Legends that I can show her with, of course. But yeah, I actually think that's kind of cool. You have to pop them on the back, but they stay in very well, which is good. And you have 2 of these, which kind of rotate on her arm. They're neat, but you can replace one of them with, like, this rail gun. This is another accessory. Very cool looking lasery rail gun. I quite like it. There's a lot of accessories. There's also this cable that goes into her. So you see she has the 2 fist hands. If you can pop a fist hand off, you gotta push this up and then pull the fist hand. It's a little difficult, admittedly, but it can be done. You can pop that off. You can kind of see the full articulation and everything under there. And then you pop on the rail gun. And I guess you don't pop the hand back in there, which I suppose makes sense. You don't really need it. Anyhow, you take this then, it plugs into the back here, and then it plugs into the rail gun. And It doesn't super hinder articulation. I wish this stayed on her hand better. Does that go? I don't think that goes over the fist. There's not enough room for it to. Yeah, that doesn't stay on super duper well. It stays on okay, I guess. I mean, it rotates when it's on, but yeah, having this plugged in, I assume makes it more screen accurate, but it might hinder a little. Not entirely sure. It is cool, though. It seems to stay in all right. I'm not sure if I'll display her with this. I kind of wanted to display her with it, but now that I see it doesn't stay on super well and you have to have this attached, no, I'm not so sure because I don't want that to happen all the time when I'm messing with it, you know? Oh well, it does. But if you're I mess with my figures a lot. Like I play with them and I pose them up, and it's kind of an ADHD thing. Like whenever I watch a movie, I always have a figure in my hand and I'm fiddling with it while I watch the film and stuff. I don't want that just constantly popping off because it doesn't seem like there's a peg in there to go into the... Oh, okay. Yeah, there definitely isn't. So yeah, I don't think I'll be displaying her with the railgun, but she does look pretty cool with it, I have to say. If you're the kind that just sits your figures on the shelf and doesn't really do anything with them, I think the railgun is cool for that. But like if you're the kind that likes to mess around with them and pose them up and do pictures and stuff, you might get a little sick of it always popping off. We also have a couple alternate hands for Ironheart, these repulsor hands, which are very cool. This one's kind of a more open traditional pulsar hand. This one's a bit more relaxed. Would have been nice to have one of each, or just both of the traditional repulsor hand, but it still works out. They're still very cool. She also comes with 2 repulsor effects that kind of plug in, very Lightning Collection style, if you collected anything from the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. Yeah, those both work quite well. I really like it. But you can also use these like kind of smoking effects on these. I think they maybe go in the other way. Let me see. Yeah, that looks like it's going to work better. Oh, yeah. So that will just peg right in. Oh, I'm like a lesbian on date night. There we go. That's a cool effect, right? And you can have the repulsor effect with or without it. It's really cool. I actually think that's a really, really cool effect. And I think I'm going to display her with a repulsor hand. The main issue with repulsor hands is you kind of can't push them back, like up like that. She can't hold that pose unless you fully take these gauntlets off. But, oh well. You also get the kind of Riri Williams head here. The civilian head, the unmasked head. I never use unmasked heads, like ever, for any characters. Just look at my Power Rangers collection. There's not a single one that's unmasked. Even my Doggy Kruger Shadow Ranger, that's probably the only one I'd ever leave unmasked. But yeah, no, I just don't do that. But if you like to do that, that is an option. And I do think it's good that that is an option. You also have these repulsor effects that plug in to the backs of the jets here. That's really cool. Like, she comes with a lot of really good effect pieces. She's a pretty cool figure. Look at that. That's cool. That's like really actually quite... I might display her with those, actually. Those stay in really well, too. She's a good figure. This is an underrated figure, I think. I think just a lot of post-in-game MCU fatigue is... And the fact that most movies made in the U.S. are bad now, this one wasn't. I heard it was a very good film, and I do believe it. I do believe it. But, yeah, that's cool armor. God, I really want to watch the film now. When I get my TV hooked up. My TV's not hooked up. I've moved very recently. Yeah, I'll definitely give it a watch. So cool. Now that we've done all of these accessories, let's get into articulation. She actually looks up really far on the head. Magnificent for flying poses. Look at that. That's wonderful. A really wonderful head articulation going back. It goes down pretty far. Side to side. A good head wobble. You guys know I like a little wobble. The arms go around they're capable of going around all the way, but this is going to hinder them, and the shoulder pad's going to hinder them a little on in and out. Her arms are actually very heavily hindered. I hate to say, there is a bicep swivel there, and a double elbow bend. They often give female figures a single, so it's nice that they gave her a double. That's actually wonderful. And when you do that, it pushes this up, and then you got to push this back to try to move the hands. The hands, really trying to pose the hands with these gauntlets on is pretty useless. I don't know if she takes these gauntlets off in the film. Like, I actually don't know. I like them on the figure. It feels like a nice, cool additional weapon. But yeah, because the fists do go side to side, and they do go forward and back, but there's not going to be much back if you can't maneuver around this. So the arms are actually very heavily hindered. And that's maybe less of the figure designer's fault and more of the film's character designer's fault, because you gotta design the figure based on the looks of the actual character. But there is good torso, you know? Really good torso. You can get her in some crazy flying poses, probably. I just wish you could push those hands back like this for repulsor blasts, to fly with the repulsor. You know, oh, can't believe that came off. It's been staying on so well this whole time. Oh well. I don't think I'll lose it or anything. It's a big piece, you know. Anyway, now we're going to move on to the leggings. They kind of go in and out. They are not the best in and out, but it's not the worst either. It's just, they hinder. Forward is actually pretty good. Back is decent, actually, but it sticks out to the side because that's hard plastic, not soft rubber, like, because there's often like soft rubber coverings, like the Bussy coverings on like NECA figures and McFarlane figures, but like Hasbro doesn't do that yet. Hasbro, come on, Hasbro, catch up with the other adult collector figure makers. But there is a good double knee bend and a very interesting foot articulation, because these legs are kind of an unorthodox look, right? But there's just this big forward and back on the feet. It's a very interesting joint, not the typical joint. But look at this. You can rotate them for like a faux ankle pivot. Very interesting. The issue is they don't line up with each other, but you could still make it work. So that's some decent engineering. Like, look at that. They both go all the way around. And there's also a peg hole if you have trouble standing her up, because she doesn't have like a boot swivel or anything. So yeah, articulation, some of it's really good, some of it's really hindered, and some of it's kind of meh, but I mean, it's there. So yeah, I think she's got some strong accessories, some pretty strong detail and paint. It's just the articulation isn't my favorite on her, unfortunately, but I do still like her. Now it's time for size comparisons. And remember, as I said, a lot of my figures are in my mother's attic back in where I used to live. So my Champions figures and my Iron Man figures, guess where they all are? Yeah, not here. But what do I have here? Spider-Man, and plenty of them. So let's show her with a movie figure first, and this is one of my more recent acquisitions. By the way, every figure you're going to see in size comparisons has been reviewed except for the last one. So first up, here is the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Spider-Man. This is the single-carded version. Yeah, so he was in No Way Home, so he's technically an MCU figure, right? Yeah, so he looks pretty cool with her. I assume this suit just makes her very tall and stuff. And then also another Spider character that is not Peter Parker, this one a comic book. It is the second version of the Kane Scarlet Spider from Marvel Legends. Pretty cool. I like the kind of stilts on the armor and everything. I think that really works for her. Why wouldn't you make yourself big and buff, right? Pretty cool. Next up, I'm going to show her with my most recent Marvel Legends review, and this is another MCU figure. This one is actually like an actual MCU character. It is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Captain America Brave New World Red Hulk, another kind of deluxe-ish figure. Really big guy. If you want to know more about him, check out the review. And this next one I have not reviewed yet because I have picked it up on the same day as her. He's a bit of an older Marvel Legend. I think he came out when I was in college. It is Machine Man, who is actually a friend of Red Hulk's in the comics. They teamed up a lot. Thanks to Steve Rogers putting them together. And yeah, he's kind of more of a normal-sized guy, Bucky Cap mold, you know. Yeah, and he will most certainly be my next figure review, probably. But yeah, I think she looks fine with them too. That's really cool. So all in all, what are my final thoughts on the Hasbro Marvel Legends series? Ironheart figure from Black Panther Wakanda Forever in the MCU. I like her. She has problems, I admit, but for $5, I think she's quite great. Yeah, I wish that railgun kind of had like a peg so that it could peg into the handhole. I really wish that, because if it did, I would display it with it, but it's too much trouble the way it is. Other than that, I think the accessories are pretty awesome. I think her sculpt is cool. I think her detail and paint are really cool. Her articulation does have a lot of hindering. That is an issue, but a lot of that is just due to the character design from the movie. She seems to scale well with other figures, and if you can find her for $5, definitely get her. If you can find her as cheap as I did, get her. Okay? Wow. Incredible price. So, that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.